A private investigator has been looking you for months. My dear infant, if you consider in angels, begin this video and watch it completely. Angel has waited long sufficient. The heavens have held again the typhoon for months, but now not. The scroll has been opened. The seal has been broken. And what changed into hidden in the shadows is now status within the blinding mild of divine exposure. No extra delays. No greater fog. No greater confusion. The fact is right here, and it's far deeper than you imagined. The time has come as a way to receive the message that changed into held back with the aid of angels. The fact that became whispered via dreams, the urgency that woke you up at 3:33 a.m. and left you breathless. This message isn't always poetic. It is prophetic. This is not an emotional tale. It's far a non-secular caution wrapped in divine fireplace. And if you study this with an open heart, your spirit will wake up like never before. A private investigator has been watching you for months. Their findings are demanding. These are not fictional phrases. This isn't always symbolic. This isn't a guess. This is divine intelligence. From the very best courts of heaven, from the records of angels who've documented your life second with the aid of second, from the non-secular evidence that has now been discovered to you, that is actual. You've been watched, now not just by the bodily, but by way of folks who had been hired to examine you. A person dispatched them. Someone with motives cloaked in lies. Someone close enough to you to recognize your routines, your locations of consolation, your vulnerable moments. Someone who pretended to like you, but their love had conditions and hidden expectations. And while you didn't deliver them what they desired, they grew angry, silently. They failed to scream. They didn't fight. They plotted. The investigator became no longer always obvious. They blended in, like an everyday presence. Once in a while they have been online. Now and again they had been in the physical realm. Every so often they had been to your environment through people you relied on. And also you felt it. The unease. The eyes that appeared too curious. The coincidences that had been too specific. The posts you made that received extraordinary responses. The unexpected cell phone calls. The person who abruptly commenced asking personal questions in hide. It wasn't your creativeness. It wasn't anxiety. It was surveillance. Spiritual and physical. And now, heaven has had enough. Their findings are stressful. But now not approximately you. No, now not approximately your flaws. Not approximately your beyond. No longer about your wounds. Their findings disturbed heaven because they discovered the wickedness of the only who sent them. The only who pretended to care about you. The one who stated, "I just need to help," at the same time as secretly feeding your facts to folks that desire to peer you fall. The reviews being written are full of things they never predicted. They concept they might discover weakness. They thought they could find disgrace. But what they observed become your resilience, your divine favor, your steady bounce back from attacks that ought to have destroyed you. They were disturbed to discover that notwithstanding the whole thing you have been through, you're nonetheless rising. You are nevertheless included. You're nonetheless chosen. And that made them irritated. You are being watched due to the fact you're next. You are subsequent in line for something so huge, so surprising, so divine, that the enemy needed to send a person to attempt to stop it earlier than it started out. They may be fearful of your destiny. Not due to your sources or your connections, however, because of your anointing. Due to the fact when you step into who you are completely, when you walk without chains, without guilt, without worry, you grow to be unstoppable. You come to be a weapon of heaven. And they knew this present day became coming. It really is why they started the research months in the past. It truly is why atypical patterns commenced for your existence. That is why some human beings' behavior all at once shifted. Due to the fact you had been below remark, not by means of God on my own, but via males and females who have been dispatched to dig into your soul. But what they observed became no longer dust. What they determined was destiny. What they observed was prophecy manifesting. What they found had been signs that made their own spirit tremble. Due to the fact you aren't normal. Your call is known within the heavens and feared in hell. You have got survived curses. You've got walked via non-secular conflict disguised as heartbreak, betrayal, sickness, put off, and confusion. And nevertheless, your status. Still, you are looking for fact. Still, you are carrying the light. And now, heaven is creating a public record of your innocence. This investigation that changed into meant to spoil you has now grown to be your court of divine prefer. There could be justice. However, earlier than that, there will be exposure. You'll research things soon so one can make you gasp. Conversations you were not purported to hear. Screenshots you were never intended to see. Confessions that pop out during breakdowns. Accidental messages dispatched to the incorrect range. It will all unfold, piece by way of piece, like a divine puzzle snapping into place. And when it does, you'll cry. Not tears of worry, but tears of affirmation. Tears of in the end understanding why lifestyles felt so heavy. Tears of figuring out what number of traps were being laid at the back of your returned whilst you had been trying to stay devoted. Heaven has sent a divine investigator of its very own. An angel assigned to you, with eyes of fire and a scroll in his hand. His venture is to deliver you reality. No longer hypothesis. No longer assumptions. Truth. And this angel is moving fast. Within the next few days, there can be plain signs and symptoms. Watch for numbers repeating. 1111 444 717. Watch for names being noted repeatedly. Look ahead to surprising conversation from humans you have not spoken to in years. These are not coincidences. Those are the unraveling. The start of the tremendous religious publicity that will cleanse your route once and for all. Someone notion they could control your narrative. They believed they might distort your story to others. They lied. They exaggerated. They created confusion. And when that wasn't enough, they employed someone to verify their lies. However, heaven intervened. And in place of confirming darkness, that investigator stumbled into light. They found out matters that scared even them. They saw proof of divine protection, of miracles, of unexplained deliverances, of moments when you need to have fallen, but failed to. They recorded incidents that do not make feel inside the natural. Automobile accidents that by no means came about. Fitness scares that all of a sudden vanished. Monetary struggles that became round without explanation. And now, they realize. You're marked. Not for destruction, but for greatness. The only who employed them is now panicking. Because their plan failed. Because they paid for a file that is now going to backfire. Due to the fact heaven became the weapon into a witness. What was intended for evil has now become the catalyst to your elevation. There may be a person in your existence whose face will trade after they discover you know. They may shift. They'll emerge as abruptly shielding. They may accuse you of being paranoid or too religious. However, you may understand. You may listen it in their voice. You'll experience it for your spirit. You will experience the fear that they are able to not cover. If you'd want to donate or show your appreciation, you can supply a splendid thank you as much as $100. Do not fear. You are not alone on this. The one who fashioned you within the womb has already gone before you. The angels assigned in your life are already surrounding you. And no weapon shaped, whether surveillance, gossip, betrayal, or religious conflict, will prosper. The path you're walking through right now is not punishment. It is purification. It's Miles' education. Because what's coming subsequent is too massive for a contaminated environment. You're approximately to step into a blessing so surprising, so supernatural, that your enemies will fall silent. Even the investigator will confess, there may be something approximately this man or woman I cannot provide an explanation for. However, there is greater. You'll have a preference quickly. A choice, a good way to test your soul. You may have get right of entry to the truth, names, motives, proof. And you'll be tempted to retaliate. However, heaven says, rise above. Your elevation may be your revenge. Your peace could be your evidence. Your fulfillment could be the loudest solution. Do no longer waste your energy seeking to persuade folks that already made up their minds. Allow God vindicate you. Let the fact guard you. Let your fruit talk. A personal investigator has been looking you for months. Their findings are traumatic, however now not in the manner you observed. It isn't your faults that had been written in that report. It changed into your pain. It changed into no longer your sins that had been documented, however your cries at the back of closed doorways. This message is for you. For so long, you thought you had been below judgment. For so long, you thought each person turned into watching to seize you fail. But the one that has been looking you carefully has visible something else. They saw that you've been walking through fire and calling it peace. They saw how you've been blamed for matters that your soul never even whispered. They saw the injustice. They noticed the manner you had been ignored of rooms you constructed. They noticed how humans smiled for your face and secretly held conferences to cast off you. And that they documented it all. A non-public investigator, assigned, paid, and dispatched, not simply by human beings, but unknowingly serving the will of heaven, has uncovered what people never desired to be delivered to mild. This message is for you. You have been thinking why currently your name keeps developing in places you didn't move. You have been feeling like someone knows something you don't. Like whispers observe you into empty rooms. Like silence is louder than words. It is due to the fact the truth has been traveling faster than lies now. It is due to the fact a person opened their mouth at the incorrect second and spilled what they in no way meant to mention. Someone turned into being paid to preserve your secrets hidden, however the payment failed to closing. The silence was bought, and the fact escaped. The findings of the personal investigator were supposed to stay at the back of closed doors. But now someone is afraid. A person is pacing their flooring. A person is losing sleep because the mild is ready to break open a world they saved hidden in shadows. You idea your pain became disregarded. You idea the tears you cried in your pillow were wasted. You thought the sleepless nights have been not noted. But this message is for you. Each moment changed into written. Every prayer turned into heard. Every injustice is being accrued by using divine fingers. The findings are stressful, not because of what you did, however due to what they did to you. Someone took your name and attempted to twist it. A person took your photograph and attempted to break it. But when they employed someone to dig up your beyond, they failed to realize they'd find proof of staying power. They did not realize the investigator might see the bruises you concealed under your smile. They failed to recognize that your energy, when documented, would turn out to be a weapon of truth. This message is for you. They wanted dirt. But what they observed became gold. They desired weak spot. But what they discovered became a warrior's journal. They wanted evidence you did not deserve love, but all they found became a trail of individuals who used your heart and walked away. A person who concept they were exposing you has now observed themselves in chains. Someone who idea they could erase you has found that heaven kept backup copies of the whole thing they attempted to delete. You are going to begin listening to approximately conversations you had been by no means meant to recognize. Human beings will slip up. Secrets and techniques will leak. Screenshots will surface. Voices could be overheard. And all at once, what became hidden will start to upward thrust. There's a cause you have been feeling uneasy these days. There is a reason your spirit is alert. Due to the fact something is moving inside the invisible realm. A divine subpoena has been issued within the spirit. The courtroom of heaven is open, and your case is on the center of it all. A person who thought they had electricity is about to be humbled. Someone who manipulated the narrative is set to be corrected publicly. This message is for you. You'll now not have to combat to clear your name. The non-public investigator has already submitted the reality. You don't have any idea how many human beings sat in circles speaking your call, casting assumptions, and wondering they were clever. But what they didn't recognize turned into that God had ears inside the room. Every mocking laugh, each whispered lie, each coordinated silence. They had been all recorded in a divine archive. And the time is drawing near when what changed into whispered in corners might be shouted from rooftops. You should shield yourself anymore. You do not must provide an explanation for yourself to people who have already made up their minds. There is a report being opened in the realm of the spirit, and your tale is being corrected by means of the only who saw all of it. This message is for you. Someone is scared right now. Now, not due to what you'll do, but because of what heaven is already doing for your behalf. Someone who tried to break your credibility is about to lose theirs. A person who attempted to frame you is now framed in their very own lies. You stored asking God why certain humans walked away. Why sure relationships dried up. Why you have been excluded from rooms you idea you belonged in. It's because God removed you earlier than their plans could touch you. You were hidden for protection, not rejection. The betrayal you notion broke you became simply your rescue project. This message is for you. The proof is apparent now. The investigator observed a sample. They thought you have been the problem, but the sample discovered the actual wrongdoer. The one who lies. The one who twists tales. The only who performs suffer while orchestrating chaos. Their sample is being exposed. Their name is now on the divine record. And also you? You are being exonerated. Someone will come to you and confess quickly. They may not be able to hold it in any longer. The guilt will consume away at them. The strain could be too much. The silence will torment them till the reality escapes their lips. And after they communicate, you'll comprehend that you were by no means crazy. You were discerning. You were in no way paranoid. You have been prophetic. You weren't imagining the tension. The electricity became actual. You weren't incorrect for walking away. You were led. You weren't susceptible for staying silent. You had been clever enough to permit heaven speak for you. This message is for you. You will soon feel a weight raise. Something invisible will smash off your shoulders. You'll wake up and experience light again. You will input rooms without shrinking. You'll solution the self-owned without anxiety. Due to the fact you will know, you're not being watched by way of people who desire you harm. Heaven has taken over surveillance. And the personal investigator who thought they were exposing you has now end up the vessel that found out your fact. You will be contacted quickly. And whilst you are, your existence will change. There are names and rooms now which you in no way concept might rise up for you. But there are files being passed from desk to table. And your story is in the center of them. Individuals who once averted you may attempt to reconnect. Folks that didn't trust in you will all of a sudden talk in your desire. Due to the fact the evidence can't be left out anymore. The reality is louder than gossip now. This message is for you. Your exoneration is close to. They tried to dig a grave for your recognition, but they failed to know they had been planting a seed. Now the tree is developing, and the fruit is plain. Human beings will flavor the fact and spot. Human beings will realize you have been in no way who they said you had been. You have been extra. Extra sincere. Extra devoted. More misunderstood than they ever cared to confess. And now? Now heaven is getting ready your desk. Proper in the front of them? Now not for revenge, but for healing, for honor, for recompense. You will obtain a message, an email, a letter, a name, something surprising. And it will open a door that changed into one slammed for your face. Whilst it comes, you'll do not forget this message. You will feel your heart race. You'll recognize this is not by threat. It is the proof of months of watching, months of observing, months of witnessing your energy in silence. You didn't combat returned. You did not argue. You didn't retaliate. And due to the fact you selected peace over performance, heaven selected to combat for you. This message is for you. Do not cut back whilst the spotlight finds you. Don't cover once they make an apology. Don't deny your strength whilst they are trying to rewrite your beyond. Stand tall. Stand healed. Stand whole. Due to the fact you persisted the worst parts alone, but you will celebrate the victory publicly. The findings may additionally were worrying to them, however to you, they're affirmation. Affirmation that you have been in no way forgotten. By no means abandoned. By no means disregarded. You had been always seen. Continually protected. Constantly included. This is the moment your name is cleared. That is the instant the storm lifts. This is the instant the secrets and techniques dissolve and the reality shines. No greater hiding. No extra shrinking. No extra questioning your worth. The record has been submitted. The courtroom has obtained it. Heaven is ruling to your want. This message is for you. Something is shifting. It's already began. You are being vindicated by fact itself. And when all of it comes out, take into account this. You didn't need to chase closure. You failed to or to beg for truth. You did not need to retaliate. You simply had to accept as true with. You just needed to wait. Due to the fact the watcher idea they have been working in opposition to you. However, heaven became them into your witness. And now the file is clear. The non-public investigator has spoken. And your freedom is simple. This message is for you.